Guy Hebert was more than just the original Mighty Duck, or the first Duck, or the first goaltender in Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks history. He represented what it means to be an Anaheim Duck. Someone who was going against all odds, proving the doubters wrong, as well as the underdog. For Guy, he made his mark with our team, and his life changed forever on June 24th of 1993. In the 1993 NHL expansion draft, our Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks made him the first official player in Ducks history, taking him second overall. Hebert was a backup goalie for the St. Louis Blues for 2 seasons, as well as honing his skills in the Peoria of the IHL, which was St. Louis' then farm team back then. For Hebert, it was a chance of a lifetime, an opportunity to pursue his dream and to increase and expand his NHL career. 8 seasons with our Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks. And for those 8 seasons, he was able to set goaltending records and milestones, many of them historic firsts, in various categories of goaltending, from wins and shutouts to other categories and stats, which was later broken by his successor, Ducks legendary goalie Jean-Sebastien Giguère, aka Jiggy. Now, Guy Hebert was one of the goalies that paved the road, set the tone for future Ducks goalies to come in the later future seasons down the road. He was the first Ducks goalie to start on October 8th, 1993, in the Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks' first ever NHL regular season game. On December the 13th of 1993, he recorded and earned the first shutout in Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks history on the road versus Toronto. A month or so later, he recorded the first Mighty Ducks shutout at home at the Arrowhead Pond, now known as the Honda Center, or aka Honda Ponda. For Hebert, he was there. He was there, and he was you can call him the pioneer, okay? But he was a trailblazer. He was the first Ducks goalie to set the bar, but also to ensure that our team was able to compete night in and night out through the goods, the bads, and the uglies, be it the wins, the losses, the ties, you name it. And he did well. He was also the first Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks goalie to win a Stanley Cup playoff series, as well as to record and earn a playoff shutout in the Stanley Cup playoffs in 1997. Hebert, from my personal opinion, and this is from my view, he was humble, he was a hard worker, very dedicated in honing his craft. This is a goalie that played collegiate hockey in the United States. And for Guy Hebert, wearing the number 31, many of us Ducks fans, and I remember wanting his number 31 to retire. But from what I know, and from what other Ducks fans were telling me, he did not want his number 31 to be retired. It speaks volume and my impression of him personally as a Ducks fan and a hockey fan. And of all the 8 seasons that he was with our team, from the 93-94 until his final season in 2000 and 2001, as I said, he set goaltending records and milestones, which would later be broken by, as I said again, J.S. Giguere, Ducks' legendary goalie. For the records that he still holds, the record for goalie in most saves by a Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks goalie, most starts, most ties, most shots faced, and fewest goals allowed, along with other 15 Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks goalies. His name is still synonymous. His name is still connected with our team. And by the time he retired, he had a home in Orange County, California. He became a local Ducks TV color analyst. He was also showing few intermissions of how the goaltending and how the goaltending reacts to an opposing player or an enemy coming down the ice, ready and willing to score the goal. His knowledge of being a goaltender was very special. And the Ducks selecting him at second overall really changed his life. You can say he gave his career a new lease on being the number one goalie in the NHL. For him, it was a chance of a lifetime. And he did it. He did it with hard work and dedication and honor and pride, wearing the Mighty Ducks logo. He was, as you can say, the de facto face of our franchise, of our team. He was one of the three faces of the Mighty Ducks back during the early 1990s, during the first 5 years of our team's history. The other two, Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks great Paul Kariya and Ducks legend Teemu Selanne. During those seasons that he was manning the net, when he was the number one goalie, Hebert reached the 20-win mark 4 times. His personal best was 31 wins in the 1998-99 season. Of course, we all fondly always do the Gee chants. I remember it well, listening on the internet radio here in Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. Yeah, I'm a Canadian and I live on the East Coast. What more can you say? But I'm also a passionate Ducks fan, so listening to our team and listening to the Mighty Ducks, Anaheim Ducks on the internet radio was my special way of connecting to the team as the team was connected to me. Hebert left his mark. And he left his mark for all Ducks fans who remember him fondly. He was approachable, talkative. And for me, meeting him personally, he was exceptional. He was, to me personally, gave me an understanding why the Mighty Ducks, Anaheim Ducks, chose him second overall in the 1993 NHL expansion draft. They gave him a chance. He was, as I say, he was a career backup, but if the Ducks did not take him at second overall in the 1993 NHL expansion draft, his career would have been different. His life would have been different. Who knows? If you want to know what he thought about being selected, here's a few quotes from him. I was 26 years old. I had made an all-star teams in the minors, and I had gotten my feet wet in St. Louis as a backup. I was excited for the opportunity out west with Anaheim. I knew I would get a chance to win a starting job. But for goaltenders, it's tough to start with an expansion team because they are often not as strong in the first couple of years. It was like a kid getting ready to move out of a house. I was ready to be a number one goalie, and Anaheim was that opportunity. I can only see the upside from the day I got on the plane to the time I landed in Orange County. It was really a great place to come to play hockey with the weather and the atmosphere. It was an exciting from the moment I got there and walked into the pond. If you want to know what he really felt, here's another quote. It ended up being the start of a great career for me in Anaheim, where I played the next 8 seasons and set Mighty Ducks franchise records in nearly every goaltending category, though they were later broken by my pal and Ducks legend J.S. Giguere. Those were Hebert's words. If you can imagine being the ages of 25 and 26, as Guy was, to find out you were being drafted in the expansion draft by a team with a funny but interesting name, named after a Disney children's movie, given a chance to win a number one starting job, being the top goaltender for a new franchise, new hockey team, increasing your career, expanding your career for nearly a decade, putting your foot forward, making your mark, being the inspiration for local hockey fans and aspiring hockey players, be it the forwards, defensemen, and many goaltenders. That is what Guy Hebert felt. For me, watching Guy Hebert play on TV and watching sports clips of him defending the net against, be it our rivals and enemies, the LA Kings, the Northern rivals, San Jose Sharks, against the Toronto Maple Leafs, Detroit Red Wings, which became our natural enemies at the time. You name it. He was the first goalie, the first Duck. His contributions really ensured that future Ducks goalies pick up the mantle of the Mighty Ducks Anaheim Ducks and carry it on to the next few years and decades. And it showed. The 20th anniversary of the Mighty Ducks, Anaheim Ducks, all Ducks fans who attended, and you know who I'm talking about, including myself, we watched that game. We cheered and showed our love and appreciation for not just all the players on the inaugural roster, but for Guy Hebert. Hebert was the goalie that stood out. But he was more than just a goalie. He was one of our heroes. He was, I won't say not overrated or underrated. He stood out. He represented the Ducks, and he did well. He did well with humbleness, with honor, with pride, and with appreciation, as I said before. For him to be the first Duck goalie to setting all these records, it was the benchmark. It was the, I wouldn't call it the gold standard. It was basically the curriculum, the benchmark, but also it gave us the witness, gave us the historic, symbolic look into our team growing, transforming, emerging. We witnessed historic firsts, and Guy was there. He was there on October 8th, 1993. He was there recording the first Ducks shutout win with 38 saves on December 13th, 1993. By February 4th, 1994, recorded the Ducks shutout win at the Arrowhead Pond, now known as the Honda Center. 22 saves and a 3-0 win over Vancouver. I'm just giving you what Guy represents. He was one of us. He was the underdog. He was the goaltender that represented our Ducks, contributed in a way, in a symbolic way, that represented what our Ducks meant to all of us. Hardworking, dedicated, persevering. That was it. And for Guy, number 31, wearing the Mighty Ducks logo with honor was something that we always love and always appreciate about him. He was the original Mighty Duck, picked second overall. His name and his accomplishments with our team should never, ever be forgotten. And meeting him was an honor and a privilege. And also, seeing him play on TV he was one of my heroes. He was the best in my eyes. He was talented too. And St. Louis was trying to make sure not to lose him in the expansion draft. And looking back now, I think we should be grateful that the Ducks picked him, not John Van Beesbrook. And those were my first impressions.